Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am here to give you my review of WWE NXT for March 4th, 2015. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't do this yesterday, and I'm going to tell you why, because I had a weird day yesterday involving sleep issues. I have no clue what's going on with that. But, what happened with this was I was way too tired to watch the show. I was too tired to even make videos yesterday. So I went to bed at 8 o'clock. I was way too... Actually, I actually went to bed at 7, if you want to... I went to bed an hour before the show even started. So then I got up at 1. I watched the show. Something was wrong with my network, so I had to watch it off that wrestling show I talked about before. And then I fixed the network. It's all fixed. So I just finished watching the rest of it on the network. I just finished watching the show a couple minutes ago, but anyhow, yeah. So then, because the wrestling site was just glitching out on me, so so I went to bed at 3 because I had nothing else to do. And then I woke back up at 10, went to bed at 11, and then I woke back up at 12. So you can see, I have no clue as well. I must be having some sort of sleeping issues or something. I'm not really sure. Anyhow, with that, let's just get right to the show. So we have Alex Riley, Rich Brennan, and Jason Albert on commentary for this show. And it shows footage from last week of William Regal and Alex Riley talking. And Alex Riley wants a match. He wants to get his hands on Kevin Owens for putting his hands on him last week. But William Regal says, no, you can't be both. You have a job. You're already a commentator. And Alex Riley said, and he says that you can't do both. You can't be both a competitor and a commentator, which I think makes perfect sense. But Alex Riley says, hey, you did both. And William Regal says, yes, and I wasn't prepared. I was prepared for the commentator. I wasn't prepared to be a wrestler, and I got my ass kicked by Cesaro. And Alex Riley says, no offense, but I have plenty of years ahead of me. I'm in better shape than you're in. But then William Regal tells Alex Riley that he has to make a choice. He either has to choose to be a commentator or an in-ring competitor. So I thought that this was a great segment. And I think William Regal's doing a great job as GM. He's not completely rooting for faces. He's not completely rooting for the heroes. He's mixture of both. I love that. So we'll get done with this later. So then Adam Rose has a match with Tyler Breeze. Adam Rose returned to NXT last night. I thought that was actually kind of cool. I wasn't expecting him. So it's pretty much saying anybody can show up on NXT. They have Rhino. They have the Brian Kendrick. So now we have Adam Rose. I just made Adam Rose sound like he's on the standards of Rhino. But you get what I'm trying to say here. Anybody can show up on NXT. Adam Rose, though, usually is a heel on the main roster. But he worked this match as a face. And he pretty much kicked Tyler Breeze's ass until Breeze hits him with a beauty shot for the win. It was okay. So then Colin Cassidy, Enzo Amore, and Carmelo will get interviewed. I don't really remember a lot what they said because I only saw this once. But they pretty much say that they're going to take, when they become the #1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team titles, they're going to take them from Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy. And then Alexa Bliss gets interviewed. And she said she's been gone off TV because she had a match with Sasha Banks and she broke her nose and she needed some time off to get herself healed mentally and physically. And now that she's back to be on top. I wonder if they're going to turn that into a feud just because Sasha Banks doesn't really have a lot of people she can feud with because there isn't many faces in the women's division. So then we get Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy versus Angelo Dawkins and Sulfur. It's two jobber guys, pretty much. They win. Wesley Blake, one of them hits the brain buster on a splash for the win. You know, it was decent. And then Charlotte and Bayley are backstage. Bayley wishes Charlotte luck in the NXT Women's Championship match. Charlotte says she doesn't need the luck. Sasha Banks is the one that needs luck because she's never beaten me. And then she walks off. And then Emma comes up and says, and Bayley asks, hey, do you want to do the dance thing with the bubbles? And she says no. And Bayley asks her if she wants to watch the NXT Women's Championship match, and then Emma applies that Bayley's soft, talking about how she's just full of hugs, loves hugging people, and I did all this stuff on the main roster, did everything you're doing now, and now I'm right back here on NXT. So Emma kind of acting weird tonight. I don't know if she's sitting to be here or not. And then they showed a Rhino video package going through his whole career. It was so good, I wanted to watch it, and I felt like it was worth writing down. And then Baron Corbin has a match with some jobber guy. I don't think it said his name. During the match, Kevin Owens was out there looking over Alex Riley's shoulder, so obviously the commentary was off in this match. But Baron Corbin beats this guy. He probably would have beaten him in 30 seconds if Kevin Owens didn't show up. But after this match, Baron Corbin hits the end of days, though, for the win. After the match, Kevin Owens is looking over Alex Riley, and Jason Albert's just like, think of your career, think of your family, think of your mortgage. So he's like, make the decision. So then Kevin Owens grabs some water, and he dumps it on Alex Riley's head, and he gets pissed. He stands up and starts having to face off with him, and Jason Albert's holding him back. And he says, I'm going to kick your ass. Well, he doesn't say the whole thing, but that's kind of what it was. So then we get a Sami Zayn update. He got back from a tour. I don't know I'm assuming he went on a tour on the main roster. And he says he doesn't feel like he's ready to come back to NXT yet. He feels like he needs to go back home to Montreal, Canada, and take a walk and collect himself. And then when he's ready, he's going to watch the footage of his match with Kevin Owens and come back and kick his ass. I really like this. I like what they're going for here. I like that we haven't seen Sami Zayn. I was worried that he was going to come out in the ring, but no. And we find out it's like his 10th anniversary of being a wrestler or something. It was actually pretty cool. And then CJ Parker and William Regal are backstage, and CJ Parker talks about how Solomon Crowe jumped him, and he wants like a shot at him. And then Alex Riley comes up and he says, do you see what happened out there? And William Regal says, no, he was talking to me. And Alex Riley makes his decision. He quits being a commentator, and he wants to wrestle Kevin Owens. But William Regal says, you're not ready right now. You're not in a good spot right now to face Kevin Owens. You need to work your way up to that. So then Alex Riley says that next week he's going to kick CJ Parker's ass, because CJ Parker was poking fun at him, says he can't do anything to Kevin Owens. And he talked about how he broke Kevin Owens' nose. I thought it was actually pretty good stuff. I think it sucks though that CJ Parker is pretty much a jobber, but at least he's getting on TV, I guess. Bo Dempsey has a match with Solomon Crowe. It was actually a pretty good match. Solomon Crowe goes off the top and hits like a springboard right into headbutt, like off the ropes onto Bo Dempsey for the win. I didn't really like the finisher, but whatever. And then we get the main event, Sasha Banks defending the NXT Women's Championship against Charlotte. This was a great match. It's just awesome how NXT looks at their women. They look at their women like wrestlers. They look at their women legits. You know how that's true because the women's match was the main event on this show. It was awesome. I think that's great how they're using the woman. This is awesome. This is how the main roster should be using the woman. This is great stuff. So Charlotte's kicking Sasha Banks' ass. So Sasha Banks is just going to take a walk and leave because then she'll retain the title. But Charlotte pulls her back in the ring. She gets her in the figure 4 leg lock. Sasha Banks gets the ropes. And then afterwards, Sasha Banks gets Charlotte in a crossface. And Charlotte gets out of it. She hits the bank statement and into a crossface. It's like a backstabber into a crossface. And Charlotte gets out of it. So then she puts it into her again, but Charlotte gets the ropes. She hits the backstabber, and she continues to hold the knees there. That was cool. Sasha Banks does the double knees into the ropes and just forces her to hold into the twin post. Charlotte hits a neck breaker and a spear, but Sasha Banks kicks out of it when she went to pin her. Charlotte went for the natural selection off the top and while Charlotte targeted the knee of Sasha Banks, she got a figure 4 leg lock around the ring post, and then Charlotte went for the natural selection off the turnbuckle, but Sasha Banks hold on to the ropes to prevent her from hitting the move, and then Charlotte went down, and then Sasha Banks rolls her up and holds the ropes for the win, and that was the match. This was a great match, and I'm happy Sasha Banks obviously went over. Now I think Charlotte's going to the main roster, which I think is going to suck just because I don't think she's going to be used to her potential. I think she's going to be used to her potential for about maybe like 3 to 5 months, and then the WWE will get bored with her and then just throw her under the bus like they did with Natalya, like they sort of did with Paige. And they don't treat, and she's not going to get the time she wants on NXT. But that's my review of NXT. I actually thought it was a good show. I liked the stuff with Kevin Owens and Alex Riley. The Sami Zayn update was good. The match between Bo Dempsey and Baron Corbin, well, Bo Dempsey and Solomon Crowe wasn't that bad. The main event with the women's match was good. What else was good? The teasing some sort of Bayley heel turn. I might watch Bayley's matches just to see that, because I hope they change up her character. I really hate Bayley. Adam Rose versus Tyler Breeze wasn't bad. Adam Rose in NXT is actually watchable. Yeah, that was really it. So that's pretty much it, guys. You can click right here to subscribe and check out my other NXT reviews on the playlist. And I'll be back to do SmackDown in a few minutes. So that's pretty much it, guys. See you later. Oh.